everyone, and welcome back to Presley Mania. And as promised, I have done a little more research and have listened to several critics' reviews of the movie Priscilla. So I wanted to go through today and tell you what I have found out and what they have said about the movie. So here we go. Are you ready? Let's delve into this. First of all, you all need to know, if you don't already, that Priscilla is the executive producer of this movie. So what does that mean? It means she had input. It wasn't just Sofia Coppola's interpretation of what was going on. It's Priscilla's input as well. So keep that in the back of your mind as we go through all of this information. Okay, the first site I want to quote is from, and all of these are from YouTube channels, was Breakfast All Day Movie Reviews. Their first thing they said, which I got encouraged by, they said the movie doesn't paint Elvis in a negative light. And I thought, oh, good. But yet I'm thinking, I've heard different, so we're going to keep going. Okay. They said that Jacob Elordi and Kaylee Spaney were very good in their acting, and that they felt like they did a really good portrayal of Elvis and Priscilla. Okay, so they said it didn't paint Elvis in a negative light, but they go on to say that Elvis controls Priscilla by telling her how to wear her hair and makeup, that Priscilla is trapped. So I'm thinking, okay, so even they're saying that it doesn't portray him in a negative light, but it's showing him to be controlling, okay? So that kind of makes me wonder, what does that mean exactly? One of the things they said really, really struck me. They said, when you are the last one standing, you get to tell the story. What a true point that is. She kind of is the last one standing, except there are some other women who dated Elvis, who were with Elvis for a very long time, who have not weighed in on this movie, and I'm anxious to see if they will. One of the things that they also pointed out is they asked, where was Lisa Marie? So apparently, I'm guessing the movie does not show a lot of her. She said, the lady who was reviewing this movie said she wondered as a mom where Priscilla was and why was she doing all of these things when she was a new mom, and where was her baby? Another thing to think about, y'all. Okay, the next one was Night at the Movies. And he did not know about Priscilla's story. He became a fan, he said, albeit not a big fan, after Baz's movie of Elvis. He became a fan of Elvis, so let's make that clear. He said it's going to be fascinating to him to see how Elvis fans react. Well, yeah, I think we're going to have a mixed bag where that is concerned. You're either on the Priscilla camp or you're on the Elvis camp. And I think you all know where I am. I am on the Elvis camp. He said that he feels like that the Elvis fans are going to have a whole lot of backlash where this is concerned. His reaction was quite different than the previous review I talked about. And this one's disturbing. He said the movie shows him as a nasty piece of work and a quite a disturbing individual. Some details were very unsettling. He said it was an uncomfortable watch. And this is the part that bothers me the most. So remember I said that he had become an Elvis fan after watching Baz's movie. He went on to say that it makes him see Elvis in a different light. It paints him horrific and an unnerving individual to be around. Two words he used to describe him was emotional manipulation and a monster. He felt that this version of Priscilla was more real than her version in Baz's movie, and that in this film, Elvis is shown not as a nice person. Wow. So I'm getting more and more anxious to see it so I can get the interpretation myself of what I really think. One of his criticisms was it was a slow film, that it was an hour and 50 minutes. It wasn't enjoyable viewing and made him uneasy. He also went on to say, because of the content of the movie, and that maybe this is why she wanted to get her story out there, because it is quite shocking. And my opinion is she wanted to get her story out there because she could make some money off of it, and she is one of the last ones around, and she kind of gets the last word. So I am begging you, you ladies who knew Elvis also, please stand up and tell the good side of him. And if this movie is as bad as what this critic is saying, we need some good to counteract it, because I don't want Elvis being portrayed that way. And I realize what also scares me is that this critic went on to say that he has changed his perception of Elvis as an individual. And that's what I was the most concerned about, really, honestly, that this movie was going to change and do damage to Elvis's character. So he said it was reality versus fantasy as to what it was like to be with Elvis. So he's thinking that what Priscilla painted was true reality. Oh dear, that makes me worry even more. Okay. The next review was through Redox Cinema, and this critic felt like Kaylee Spaney will get an Oscar nomination because her performance was that spot on. He also said that Jacob Elordi presented a very real interpretation of Elvis at home and what he was feeling, versus Austin Butler's performance he felt was more of a spectacle. I thought Austin Butler was fantastic in his portrayal of Elvis. And keep in mind, these are their interpretations, not mine. Some of the afterthoughts have been my opinion, but these are the critics. He says that it follows 13 years of Priscilla's life, and the film was shot in 30 days. He said the film is not for everyone. It delves into betrayal, manipulation, which are very prevalent themes for today, and how our actions can affect our loved ones and all the people around us. Whoa, okay, so again, another critic says that it's manipulation. I don't like it. Your entertainment ticket. This was the next review I saw, and also the last one that I watched. So I watched 4 of them, y'all. They said that Baz painted Elvis as a pathetic character because of the Colonel and how he took unfair advantage of him. But in this movie, it's going, or may, cause controversy. He said that we find out in this movie that Elvis was an abusive man. Not so much physically, but psychologically, emotionally. He told Priscilla how to look and dress, threatened her by saying things like, "Are you going to be a good girl?" Threatened to send her away. It casts Elvis in a negative light. He kept her in a cage, trapped at home while he was away making movies. Not necessarily lock and key, which that's not what he did, but emotionally she was trapped in a cage, was his interpretation. Her parents just let her go. So he brought that out. Her identity was Elvis's girlfriend and then his wife. That's who she became, which was common during that time, he said. He didn't let her try and achieve anything else. That was the abuse this critic saw. In one scene, she says something in front of the boys. She makes a comment in front of the Memphis Mafia. And he admonished her and he got angry because she opened her mouth. And he said that's a form of abuse. He goes on to say that Priscilla didn't care though, because she was the one in the end who got to be with Elvis and to sleep with him at night. He said the one thing that it left him with was at the end of the movie that he did not feel like it pointed to why she was ready to leave Elvis. It was almost like she's here, she's in love with him, and then all of a sudden she wants to leave. He didn't feel like it showed her development to get from point A to point B. He also said he's anxious to see how fans will react to this movie and that he feels like it might start some controversy. You think? Priscilla had to keep everything emotionally inside of her, he said. He also said that he felt sorry for her and that it was thought-provoking. He also mentioned, however, even though he was emotionally abusive to her, that she is still hanging on to his last name because it's her identity. Bingo! That is what I have said all along. Why hang on to the last name? And as I said in my previous video, why do you want to be buried at Graceland near a man who was abusive to you? How bad was he? These are just some things I want y'all to think about. Keep in mind, when and if you go see the movie, I am planning on seeing it this week, so I will upload my thoughts on it. But I wanted to make you all aware of what the critics said. You can think about it. You can message your comments to me below, and I will read them. I received over 300 and something comments on my last video, and I can't respond to everybody, but I do read them, and I really appreciate your comments. I have been overwhelmed at the amount of views my last video got. It was the very first one I've done by myself, and I've received over 12,000 views on that. So thank you to everyone who has watched it. Thank you for those who have subscribed to my channel. If you like what you see here, please hit that subscribe button and the bell, because it will notify you when I do another video. So again, don't forget to hit subscribe, like my video, and leave me a comment. I appreciate you guys. I will do another video next Monday. Shauna and I on Two Gals Talk About Elvis will have a new video this week as well, and we're going to be going over the rest of Vernon's will. Hope you will tune in to that too. Y'all have a wonderful day and enjoy life. We only get one chance to live it. Bye, everybody.